Hi, this is Dr. Ron Mottern with Mottern Institute for Mind, Body, Wellness, and this is your weekly 5-minute words of wellness. Now, for the past couple of weeks, we've gone quite a bit over the 5 minutes, so I'm going to try to get back to just doing that for 5. And what I'd like to talk about this week is a form of mindfulness that you'll find in my new book, Living Well, A Guide to Cognitive Behavioral Skills Exercises. That's available on Amazon. And what I want to talk about this week is that form of mindfulness that comes from coloring. That's right, coloring. It's like you take crayons and you color something. Now, most of us, when we grew up, when we left childhood, we sort of left that coloring behind. And that's a shame, because coloring is a form of mindfulness. Okay? Think about, try to remember the last time you colored something, maybe many, many years ago. But what were you thinking about when you were coloring that? Yes, exactly. You weren't thinking about anything. If you had any conscious thought at all, it was maybe stay between the lines, and not everybody had that thought. But what we did when we were children is we trained ourselves to go into a form of mindfulness as we were doing that coloring. So this is a practice that we can use today. There are adult coloring books that are there. If you go to the supermarket, oftentimes those are in their book section, or you'll even find them in the checkout aisles and what have you. And you can buy those. And once again, those are for adults. Have some in the book. Okay, we have some different mandalas and what have you in there that you can color. Just a few of them in there. We don't have a whole lot. Like I said, there are whole books that are made for those. You can find those on Amazon and different places. They have some very creative ones, to put it mildly, for adults and what have you. But once again, we do this because it is a form of mindfulness. Now, if I am upset, I'm anxious, I'm stressed, I'm depressed, frustrated, and I want to work on calming down, I can always use the mindfulness skill. Now remember that mindfulness is a skill, and the more I practice it, the better I get at it. So the first time you use the coloring, for example, maybe you're very frustrated at something, you go in and start to color in the book, and maybe it doesn't last very long until I've got other things to do, and just walk off. The next time you get frustrated, angry, etc., go back and do it again, and make yourself stay a little longer. Make yourself color that a little longer, and keep that up. Once again, it's a skill, so the more I practice it, the better I get at it. And what you're really developing here is the practice of self-discipline. And I'm forcing myself to stay a little longer, to maybe stay between the lines as I color those mandalas or whatever the picture is I'm coloring. And that helps me in a number of ways. Number one, it helps me work on some thinking errors that I might have. So that self-discipline helps me work on instant gratification. It also helps me work on power thrust as well, because I want to get up, I want to go do this, but I'm going to force myself to stay, I'm going to force myself to color this. And as I do that coloring, and my thinking starts to move away from the thoughts that are causing those hurtful emotions into the thoughts that are more calm, more pacific, and what have you, then what I'll find is as I will begin to calm down. In one aspect, it works as a form of distraction, and that distraction is immediately how we do that. Now remember that with mindfulness, that I don't really practice mindfulness in the moment. I practice mindfulness as the practice of mindfulness, and as I practice these things, I find myself getting less stressed and less anxious and less frustrated and less depressed. So this is a practice that I want to go to. I want to use this mindfulness over time that'll help me control those emotions. But in the moment, the coloring, something like that, will act as a form of distraction, sort of take my thoughts off of what's causing me to feel these harmful emotions that I'm feeling, and put them on something else, which may be nothing, just coloring, like I said, just staying between the lines. So once again, try out the coloring. Okay, you can get those in the supermarket and what have you. We have some in my new book, Dr. Ron Mottern's Living Well, A Guide to Cognitive Behavioral Skills Exercises. It is the holidays, so if you're looking for that gift to give somebody, give them the gift of calmness, give them the gift of mental wellness, give them the gift of living well. Thank you for your time. This is Dr. Ron Mottern with Mottern Institute for Mind Body Wellness.